Hello, welcome to Ramble Ranters, where we talk about anything and everything. My name is Dawson M.A.A.d, and I am with the one and only Tyler Malinauskas. And this is a podcast where we try and just start a conversation and discussion about whatever we want to talk about. Today, I think just a nice little thing. Since it's Halloween, it's a lot of people's favorite holiday.
A lot of college kids' favorite holiday.
No, absolutely. I just thought we'd talk about favorites, just favorite things in general.
Yeah. So, whether that be favorite ice cream, favorite political leader,
favorite movie,
favorite way to sleep,
favorite album. There we go. It's
perfect things.
These are a few of my favorite things. Easter egg, one of my favorite musicals.
Yeah.
So, Sound of Music.
Sound of Music, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I like.
I sit through all 7 hours of that movie. Oh my gosh. Willingly.
I saw the only thing I've seen from that is Edelweiss because that's in my rep, and I honestly, after doing that for so long, that same song, I freaking hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Dude, we need to watch that movie.
We do.
It's incredible.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this because you said that's probably what we're going to talk about on the podcast is favorite things. And I was in the shower and I was like, man, I like taking a shower. I like taking showers sometimes, but you know what really makes a shower for me? It's something that I was told to do. It was
Your favorite aspect of showering?
My favorite aspect of showering, other than seeing my naked body, is having an ice cold beer in the shower. Have you ever had a shower beer? Yeah. Have you ever had one?
Once. I think.
Really shitty beer.
Really
like
did
Bush,
not work for me.
Keystone, but just you're in there, you're taking a shower, and every once in a while you just... yeah, that's one of my favorite things in this world.
I tried it, but it didn't do anything for me.
I absolutely love it. I'm sorry. Maybe you just don't have the right type of beer.
I guess so. No,
my favorite thing about soap in the ale correctly.
My favorite thing about showering is I have like a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah.
You know this because your bedroom is right next to the shower.
Yeah.
But I put my Bluetooth speaker and I have a shower playlist on my phone. Mm-hmm. And I just said...
Death of a Bachelor.
Oh, that's definitely in there. That's definitely in there.
God, 7 a.m.
Because I never shower in the morning.
No, you don't.
What are you talking about?
But it'll be like, I'll be going to bed and I hear you belting like...
There we go. Yeah.
And it's good. Like I'm just like, well, damn, Dawson, get it, but
singing in the shower, I felt that it was incomplete, just like listening to myself. Mm-hmm. So I just like put my Bluetooth speaker on the shelf.
Well, that's with anything. Anytime you sing to yourself, like you're singing your favorite song, is if you have the music with you,
it's
you can
just
listen
so much
to
more
them.
empowering.
Right, like you don't sound as awful. Exactly.
And you're not doing like the background.
Yeah.
Like and then go into it. No, I have the full orchestration behind me.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, no, that's my favorite part of like just taking showers.
Okay, let's do some
all right.
favorites.
Favorite food.
Whew. Favorite type of food or favorite food?
Okay. If you were sitting on death row and they said, what's your last meal?
Mm-hmm. Well, I actually I heard a joke about that where the guy apparently whatever the last meal was. Oh yeah, the head of the executioner. That would be my last meal. So I wouldn't die.
Yeah.
That's a joke. Anyway.
For sure.
My last meal, I love Italian food.
Okay.
That's why I asked you type. I love lobster ravioli. I don't know if that's what I want my last meal to be. Because after I eat lobster ravioli, I feel really full, I kind of want to go out.
Kind of hungry?
Kind of like satisfied. Maybe just have sushi, maybe. Sushi would be a good... Like as much sushi as I could eat. That would be pretty nice. Because I feel like every time...
why don't you want to go out like feeling full?
I don't know why. I just don't want to feel bloated. I don't want that to be the last thing that I feel. I don't want to feel like you don't want fucking hate myself.
You don't want the executioner to look at you in your final moments and go, "I think you put on a few pounds."
He's a little pudgy. Yeah, exactly.
And then injection. No.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Hey, there's a question. What's your favorite way of execution? What way would you like to die?
Firing squad.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I think that's like so honorable. That's so cool. Also, and the thing that you told me about it last night when we were watching Westworld. That's really cool. Go ahead and say that again.
Yeah. So when they line up all the guns and to face the execution-y, I guess, they put a blank in one of the guns, and I think it's called the conscious shot. But, so what happens is somebody doesn't fire a bullet.
Right, but everybody has the benefit of knowing maybe I didn't actually kill the guy.
So yeah,
I didn't
maybe
shoot.
it wasn't my bullet that killed him because I fired a blank.
Yeah.
But no, none of the firing squad knows which one has the blank.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's a really, really cool. That's something so small, yet something so just humane to give somebody who's going to take a life.
The person that thought of that was so had like a soft heart.
Yeah.
For an executioner.
For somebody who wanted to put criminals.
Yeah.
Underground. Well, let me ask you, what would be your last meal?
Mashed potatoes would be the side.
Ooh.
To either
Good choice.
a great steak or meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
And no, I have like a sentimental connection to meatloaf because my mom and dad were like both working when I was growing up. So basically all we had to eat for a period of years was Costco pre-made meals.
Yeah.
And my favorite one was the Costco brand, like the Kirkland brand, prepackaged meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
See, that could have gone easily another direction. You could grow up absolutely hating meatloaf because you had to eat so much of it.
No.
But that's interesting that's one of your favorite things.
Yeah.
I don't have that connection to meatloaf at all. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy a nice meatloaf.
Sure.
But have you ever had spaghetti? Not spaghetti. Fucking, we eat spaghetti all the time.
Yeah.
Swedish meatballs. It's like meatballs on mashed potatoes with this nice like sweet sauce. Oh my gosh, to die for. You should come back to Kansas. My mom will make it for you. Sweet. Shout out Rita. What's up?
Mom's in the house? Not really.
Not at all.
Okay. Huh.
So, but steak is a good one. I would definitely like a fillet. Ugh.
Oh yeah. No, medium. Like
medium.
Perfectly in the middle, and just I'd feel a little bit better about dying.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna go with steak because that wouldn't make me feel. I never feel bloated after a nice steak.
And you always feel satisfied.
You just feel like maybe a little bit of masculinity kicks in, a little bit more testosterone going into the electric chair. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite TV show now or like
ever?
Yeah.
Okay. How about favorite TV show that you've finished? And favorite TV show that you're still watching. So finished. Okay. One of them would have to be Breaking Bad. I feel like that's a fan favorite, and it's very stereotypical. Oh, yeah. But that's the one that first pops into my mind. I'd have to think about it longer to give you a different answer, though. What about you?
When you say I'm finished watching, does that mean like this series is over and completed?
Yeah,
or
like there are no more episodes.
Okay.
So like you can't say South Park. South Park is continuous. You could say your favorite season of South Park.
Okay. My favorite show of all time, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I have like good
choice.
When I was growing up, I felt like I identified with Aang so much. Because I talked about last episode, like I was bullied a lot.
In a way, you deep down are that little bald boy who can play with the air.
But no, he was given something. He had this gift, but at the very beginning, he didn't want it. It's revealed that when he was told that he was the Avatar, he ran away.
That parallels with your intelligence when you were a kid.
And I didn't want it, but then the thing that was so beautiful about that show to me about Aang's arc was he understood the gravity of what he had, but he took it. He understood and became the greatest person in the world. Yeah. Now, I obviously don't aspire to be the greatest of all time.
Oh, really?
Nah.
Could have fooled me.
But okay, snide comment aside. No, I realize that whatever I've been given is not a bad thing, and that really really helped me. But the show is incredible. Besides that, I never finished it. I regret that. I need to finish it, but there's so much you feel like you have to watch. You and I are taking a Saturday afternoon and plowing through all of it
next weekend.
There we go. Okay.
So wait, what's your favorite ongoing series right now? Like we're watching Westworld together. We just
Yeah.
finished the 4th episode. We're watching South Park together.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're gonna end up watching the 2nd season of Atlanta together because when does the last episode come out?
Next week, I think.
So I'll have to binge on that to catch up to the season finale if I want to
Yeah.
see that with you. But
All those shows are incredible. But
I wouldn't say Westworld would be my favorite ongoing series.
Nah.
Though. I feel like it would be Game of Thrones if I was up to date, but I'm not up to date. We aren't up to date.
no, I'm not either. I feel so bad about that because like all the people around me at school,
Yeah.
that's all they talk about when the season is in.
Yeah, if there's a spare moment, it's like, did you see Game of Thrones?
Oh my god,
It's so
did you see
Hodor?
Oh my god, it was incredible. No, and they all talk in whispers when they talk about Game of Thrones. My favorite show that I'm like watching, I think, is BoJack Horseman.
Okay.
Because I can't think of another show where twice I've devoted an entire day to watching the whole season. Because when season 2 came out, my friend and I stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning to see the first few episodes. And then I was literally falling asleep on my feet.
Yeah.
So we both went to bed, took like a 4-hour nap, woke up, and then finished the show.
Yeah.
And then when season 3 came out, we did relatively the same thing.
We watched it all in if it wasn't a day, it was 2 days. Because I remember we were just plowing.
I think we watched it in a day.
We sat right here with the TV there in the chair that the camera's on, and or did we?
We didn't have the couch yet.
We didn't have obvious. Yeah, no, we definitely didn't. That was in the summer. But like was it the 2 chairs that we took from the dorms?
Yes.
Or was it these?
No, it was the dorm chairs.
Dorm chairs. But we just sat and watched it, and then
I'd like to preface, we didn't steal any chairs from the dorms.
No,
they were given to us.
Yeah, but I was like, we have a different opinion on the last season of BoJack.
Yes, we do.
I was very disappointed at the end of that season because I felt like so much was on. I felt like they just decided, okay, we're gonna build up half of this season. BoJack can win this award, and all these good things can happen to him. And then, I guess, spoiler alert: Sarah Lynn's gonna die. He's not gonna get the award. His life is gonna be in shambles. It's like it didn't seem so realistic anymore because I felt like in the first 2 seasons, he would build up, he'd get to this really good place in his heart and his really good, like, positive place, and then he would, by his own doing, sabotage himself. But everything that happened in season 3 seemed to be external and completely environmental.
But the bender that ultimately killed Sarah Lynn was, you could almost attribute that
To BoJack.
him.
Yeah.
So he sabotaged himself by killing her.
Yeah. That's
I mean, she did OD on heroin BoJack, which, as Wisecrack put, hit the nose a little bit too much on the head.
Yeah. The thing that really
hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
There we go.
The thing that keeps the door open for me for BoJack, a show that I, if not equally love like you, is the last part of the last episode of the most recent season, and that's when he's looking out over a prairie, it seems like, and it's just a bunch of wild horses running. And I was like, well, Secretariat was a runner. I mean, that was his last movie. Maybe he's gonna get into shape. Like, that's as simple as it could be. But it's also like maybe he's just gonna completely drop off the face of the earth, pull a Bobby Fischer. You know what I mean?
I don't know who that is, but I'm gonna run with your metaphor.
You don't know who Bobby Fischer is?
No.
He is the greatest chess player in the world. Of
Okay.
all time. Well, I mean, I guess that's arguable with some of those Russian guys.
Really
out there
quick,
right
favorite
now.
board game.
I love fucking Candyland, man. I love Candyland, and I also love Sorry, and I like Chinese checkers.
Okay. I think mine is just Monopoly because I like watching friendships end.
Yes, I got in a fight. My second girlfriend, I legit got mad at her because she and I and then one other person were the 3 left in the game, and she gave all of her resources to the other person, like
When she
not to
lost?
me. And I was like, and I did lose to that person. I'm like, I'm your boyfriend. What kind of connection do we have
That's
for
rough,
you to
buddy.
just sabotage me? I adamantly got mad at her.
Hilarious.
Because Monopoly, like you said, just so much time is invested, and it's like your own little country that you've got there, your own little civilization, and when it ends, it's horrible. But what other favorites? We were on movies, albums. What is your favorite album? That's hard.
That's like picking my favorite child.
Yeah.
I've had like several favorite albums over the years, but for the life of me, can't pinpoint one
Really?
that's like sustained itself in my heart.
Well, top 3 then.
Of all time? Oh, I can't do that. Not out.
Yeah.
Some of my favorites over the years, I guess. What's it called? The yellow Jack Johnson album.
I have no idea.
The one with Banana Pancakes, Better Together, Sittin', Waitin', Wishin'.
I've never heard any of those songs.
Oh
bro.
my goodness. My best Jack Johnson album of all time.
Yeah. Definitely some Panic at the Disco, I would think.
Not for me, no.
No?
I only like recently listened to like his whole filmography.
Discography.
Yes, thank you. Favorite. Okay, you pick one while I'm thinking.
Well, one that was I became very attracted to was Dark Side of the Moon last year. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's in there with me. It's
Sure.
definitely, I wouldn't say like you, I wouldn't want to pinpoint one because I love so many of them.
Oh, yeah.
But Dark Side of the Moon, I have listened to probably more times than any other album. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, because you just have the CD in your car.
Oh yeah, I stole it from Walmart, and I was like, I just need this. Because at the time I had fucking no money at all, and I was like, I just need to listen to this, and not on my stupid FM transmitter. I just need to be able to go to money when I'm down and just get in the zone, you know?
I feel. Yeah, that's a great one. Ooh. Yeah, music is just really, really hard for me. My favorite rap album is probably this is like people will call me a poser or whatever, but To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible. Well,
mine would be.
Okay, I take that back. Actually, I feel like To Pimp a Butterfly is a better piece of art, like just better made, more well thought out. But I connect with Good Kid, Mad City more.
Okay. So you like the layout and the construction of To Pimp a Butterfly.
Oh yeah.
But you
like with
lyrically identify with Good Kid, Mad City.
I personally identify, yeah.
I would say Kendrick is definitely up there in some of them. I wouldn't want to claim anything because I haven't listened to enough Kendrick, I don't feel. And when I mean that, it's not like I haven't listened to him. It's like I haven't gone through and listened to the lyrics. Like listened to it and read the lyrics because I feel like that's how you really understand an album.
Yeah.
But J. Cole's, I always forget this, Forest Hills Drive,
2014 Forest Hills Drive.
That's probably my favorite rap album other than Mathers LP.
Okay.
Marshall Mathers LP.
For sure. Okay, so another rap album that I really, really liked in high school was Childish Gambino's Because the Internet.
Yes.
So much so that I wrote my senior thesis on it.
Yep.
Yeah, so the project for my senior thesis was take a unit that we did over the year and just expound on it. And one of the things that we did was periods of poetry. So we would throughout history see how English poetry evolved. And my argument was the period that we're in now simultaneously are postmodern poetry and existentialism. And I felt that the best cohesive piece of poetry that represents both of those is Because the Internet. So I wrote this 12-page paper on the whole album. I read the screenplay at the same time, which, praise be to Donald Glover. That guy, almost everything he does.
He's an interesting person in general.
Oh, yeah.
I
love Community. Community is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting because you don't see a lot of people who don't start from some kind of struggling beginning become successful rappers, or at least as respected of rappers as Donald Glover is. maybe I'm just ignorant to that, but it seems like he's got something. He's just naturally gifted.
Yeah.
As an
he's
actor,
just
a writer, a rapper,
a director.
he
can do everything.
He's got it, but he started, like you said, like an upper middle kind of income household. So it's like it's very interesting.
He's just like established himself. It's incredible.
So young too,
Oh yeah.
man.
And he still has like his whole life ahead of him. So I want to see like what's the next thing he branches into.
Politics, Donald Glover, 2024,
Oh man.
alongside Philip DeFranco.
Philip DeFranco is probably my favorite YouTuber.
Oh yeah. I'd say he's up there with me. I'm in between channels right now because I mean what I used to watch regularly, obviously Game Grumps.
Yeah.
And then I've always watched FouseyTube, and not for the fact that I like FouseyTube. I absolutely hate FouseyTube and everything that he's about. I've been hating him since I've been watching, back when he was fat in LA, like way before
You're
the
an OG
90s.
hater.
No, seriously. I was whatever he considers a bruh 3 years ago. I was watching him because sometimes I like his message back then. I really did. But then once he got fit, then he just kind of like, I mean, it all came at him. I mean, all this fame, all this fortune, and he's like, he's not honest. He's not honest with his intentions ever. And when it bites him in the ass, he doesn't say sorry. He hides it behind, I need to take down this video because of copyright issues. So that's my least favorite YouTuber, probably. The Colossal is Crazy video.
Yeah.
I saw that.
FouseyTube in alternate reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that 45-minute video, if you got the time, go watch it. If you have any idea on the YouTube culture right now and the whole pranks being fake on YouTube, it's worth the watch. There's plenty of... Fousey took it down because, I mean, it makes him look like a fucking shithead. Sorry about the bleeping. But... he took it down. There's plenty of other like pseudo links up there where people have re-uploaded it and stuff.
I think there's somebody actually made a link that's like FouseyAR.com.
It finds the most
the
recent
most
one.
recent mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'd say my favorite YouTuber right now would probably be Philip DeFranco. He might be right underneath iDubbbz TV.
Okay.
iDubbbz is another very cynical... not another, but he's a very cynical guy. Like
yourself.
He's so funny because the thing that makes him awesome is that I really respect about him, he's got this sense of humor, and it's super dark, and it's super, I don't care if you laugh, but if you laugh, congratulations. Like, good for you for thinking I'm funny. And he just does whatever he wants, and it's just super sarcastic, but he also did an exposed video for FouseyTube. And that's how I found him. But he also does it for other people. He calls it Content Cop or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's very intelligent, and he's very confident and egotistical. And I just adore it. I absolutely adore it. He doesn't put out as many videos as Philip DeFranco. That's probably why I don't like him as much. Or I might think of Philip first. But I'd probably find myself watching Philip DeFranco more just because he's so consistent and biased, and I mean that was inspiration for this.
Yeah,
is the way that he runs his channel and stuff.
I remember watching Philip DeFranco and like the way his philosophy of just like, this is a conversation. I present whatever it is. Now it's just news, and
my viewpoint, both sides of the argument.
He presents both very, in my opinion, very unbiased.
Yeah.
And then inserts his opinion and then invites people to talk about it. And that was like one of the major inspirations for this is I wanted a venue to talk about like those big discussion type things beyond just like the news. I wanted to talk about just like what we said, like philosophy, politics would be part of that, but like religion, just like these huge open-ended things that would allow for so many different viewpoints.
Well, there's a segue. Who's your favorite philosopher?
Descartes. For sure. I have a book of his I have a book of his on my bookshelf, right next to probably your favorite, if I can call it.
The Fountainhead, Ayn Rand.
Oh, yeah.
Or were you thinking Freud?
No, I was thinking Freud's not a philosopher.
Is he not?
No, he's a psychologist.
A psychologist. Okay. I thought he wrote philosophy.
No. No, I'm thinking because Descartes' book is sitting right next to Nietzsche.
Yeah. I've been read Nietzsche and I really love it, but I haven't read enough of it.
Sure.
The one that I have read enough of it is Ayn Rand. I love Ayn Rand.
So why do you like Ayn Rand?
I love that. I don't know. I love how young it is as a philosophy. It's very applicable to most people. I feel like
In this present age?
in present age, it's almost like a religion. Objectivism is. It's you live your life for the sole benefit of yourself and sole happiness of yourself, and then after that, to benefit the world and be a better person, you go and help people. One of the things that she explains is that if you're driving down the street and say you have no money, you're going to work or something, and you see a homeless person on the side of the road asking for money, what good does it do to yourself to give that person the $5 you would have used for lunch? Just give that away, because that's not going to make you comfortable. I mean, that's not going to help you do a better job at work. Sure, that's nice and it's very caring to do. But what she says is that you should work hard to make it so that you live your life and you're living comfortably, then give back to the poor, then give to charity. Get to the point where you're in a comfortable position where you don't have to just give $5. You can give as much money as possible, or maybe $20,000. So if I set myself back from $5 in that beginning, sure, for that period of time, I feel good about myself. But what impact does that make? Maybe taking a little bit more time to better yourself and then give back to charity, that's a really good perspective on it. Also, she has a great viewpoint about America. There's excerpts from The Fountainhead where she's like, we used to be the greatest country, and talking about how America used to allow everybody in and build the country on intellect and innovation and invention and stuff. And now it's all it's completely shifted and morphed into this terrible beast. And people, I feel like a lot of people don't realize how selfish they actually are. How objectivism, how they might apply themselves to objectivism or how they might follow it. Because selfish has a negative connotation. And that's what she says in one of her explanations, is that selfishness isn't bad. Love is selfish. Love is the most selfish thing you can do. You want somebody, another human being, to be your ideal creation. You want this person to fit a mold that you've created in your brain to be the perfect individual. Now, whether that has something to do with Freud or other environmental issues, that doesn't matter. But love, the idea that love is selfish, selfless, that, I'm just giving my heart to this person. That's not true, because you're also desiring the heart of that other person. You know, it's
okay.
She takes the world and flips it on its head and explains why that's right. And I absolutely love it. It's complete devil's advocate.
And you are a devil's advocate incarnate.
I love to play that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I wish I would read more, but I'm terrible at reading.
I say that as if I agree. You don't read enough.
I don't read enough. No.
No, I think the reason that I like Descartes so much is because he, in my opinion, does the best job of establishing his own rules of philosophy and then abiding by those rules. Like he, I'm not sure what the exact term is, but it's something akin to like absolute doubt. That like in his first, he has a series of essays. In his first one, he says, I'm going to get down to the one thing that beyond all shadow of a doubt I can get down with. It's like, all right, what I see is true. Well, no, my senses might be false. Like,
manufactured.
Yeah, or like just flawed. So what I'm seeing might not actually be representative of reality.
Right.
And he goes down, and at the very end of that essay, it's the famous Latin term cognito ergo sum. I think, therefore I exist. Because if I am having these thoughts in some capacity, I must exist. And he goes throughout like the rest of the series of essays and uses that rule and comes up with this like conclusion. And it's really, really cool. Like I can get down with him playing by the rules he has set for himself. And they're hard guidelines. But he sticks with it, like even when it gets really, really tough. Now, some people say that he had political
intertwinings and stuff.
Yeah, well, because the whole part of it was, I think this is the history, that he wanted to, because he was like a scientist, or like he was funding science, and I think he's French. The French government was all, since it was at the time super Catholic, they were like, no, science is against God. You can't study nature. And at the end of it, one of his conclusions is that by studying nature and by doing science, we are glorifying God. So I think like there are scholars that think that his motivation for writing these was to almost justify himself.
And justify science to the Catholic Church.
Sure, yeah. So he almost saved himself by writing those. But the reason I like him so much is because almost right after I read him, I read another philosopher, and I'm blanking on his name. Future Dawson, throw his name up. But he has this thing where Descartes is absolute doubt. This other guy is relative doubt. And it's, that doesn't seem right. So, nah.
So you disagree? Or his philosophy is, I don't believe that to be true. Maybe it's probably not true.
Well, when I read him, it almost feels like he's establishing the rules as he goes.
Kind of almost improvisationally?
Yeah. Like, I feel like when I read his book, the one that ends with, if it has nothing to do with numbers or definitions, throw it to the then right before that he talks about like the Bible and like religious texts. And the end of that, his whole argument is, if it has nothing to do with like things that we can prove, like numbers and definitions, and he says beyond, then you can use those to extrapolate real things like science. But like things that are existential, things that really you can't prove, you just have to take on faith. His whole final thing is, if it can't be proven, then throw it to the flames, because it's nothing but sophistry. But like I felt like throughout that he had, I get this huge knot in my stomach because it feels like he has this agenda as he's writing it.
Yeah.
And of course that's one of the criticisms of Descartes too, but I don't feel that's inherent.
I don't even agree with that completely. I don't care about an agenda, honestly. If you don't understand something, to throw it to the flames.
Well, not if you don't understand it, but to not prove it.
Even then, I mean, how do you move forward in science? If you can't prove something after tests and tests and tests, you shouldn't. If you have a hunch, you should definitely keep continuing. I mean, that seems very pessimistic to me. Not even pessimistic, just almost like it's an easy way out. Oh, I tried to turn lead into gold. I couldn't do it. Guess I'm giving up. I guess that's a bad example, but
yeah, because alchemy's not a thing.
Right. But
yeah, did you know that Isaac Newton spent the last years of his life delving into alchemy?
Really?
Mm-hmm. After he made like his famous 3 laws, that he like, because he considered alchemy to be a science.
Yeah. Well, so he just in that time considered to be a science.
Yeah. So he just devoted the rest of his life to alchemy and just died in alchemy, like a failed alchemist.
Well, every alchemist died a failed alchemist.
Yes, All right. Favorite movie?
First one that comes to mind is Interstellar. Second would probably be Mad Max. My Cousin Vinny is up there. Mm-hmm. Blues Brothers is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Okay, to pick one. Let's just go with the food thing. If along with as you're eating the last
You
meal,
have to watch a movie.
You get to watch one movie.
Probably Interstellar. Most likely because it almost talks about a higher form of living, like these fifth
And you're
dimension.
hoping as you die,
Yeah.
you ascend into this.
That'll be the last thought. I'm going to be a fifth dimensional being right now. Yeah.
I'm gonna help humanity expand itself.
Exactly. So that would probably be soothing. Either that or the longest movie I could find. And something nice.
Stave off your execution.
It's a Wonderful Life. I would love to watch. You still haven't seen that, or no? You have seen that.
I've
obviously,
been in that
you've
show.
been in the show. Yeah, but that's a great movie if you
For
want to
sure.
just kind of just feel good.
A lot of it's not feel good, but it ends very much so.
Yeah, it takes you on a roller coaster every time you watch it. Casablanca is fantastic.
Oh.
Recently watched that.
Casablanca, man.
I would love to watch that. It's just, I love film so much. I love watching it. I love experiencing it. I love discussing it. I wouldn't, to have that be the last thing that I see. Ugh. The score is just incredible on Interstellar.
Oh, Hans Zimmer?
So, yeah.
Hans Zimmer? Oh my goodness.
So it would probably be Interstellar or It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
Something like that. Not The Passion of the Christ.
I don't
about
want
you?
my last film. I don't want one of my last thoughts to be Mel Gibson in any form or fashion.
I haven't even seen Braveheart. I need to see it, though.
Oh, it's a good one.
I heard
it's a good one.
Yeah. What about you?
It's so funny. He's making a movie now. He's directing it. But the trailers don't have his name.
Okay.
All they say is from the director of Braveheart.
Did he direct Braveheart?
He starred and directed it.
Oh, okay.
And it's sort of like banking on the fact that the general public doesn't remember that Mel Gibson also directed Braveheart.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I just think that's so funny from like a marketing perspective that he's too much of a risk. Like, oh, if we actually mention his name, people probably won't come see it. No.
So what's your favorite movie? Death Row. What you watching?
I think that
I just need to say also, Death Row, I better get some fucking popcorn if I'm watching this movie. That's the least they can provide me.
okay, favorite movie watching. Before I answer, favorite movie watching food or candy or snack.
Oh, man, dude. Pizza rolls are good.
Okay.
Popcorn, popcorn's a
Popcorn
classic.
for sure.
And a nice cold soda. Like a Sprite. Light ice.
Yeah,
Remember that McDonald's? Forgot our buffalo sauce.
they did.
Go ahead.
I don't know. My favorite movie watching candy is I always called them rainbow spaghetti, but it's the sour
Yeah.
the sour strips.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll throw a picture up. But I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite movie, but
You got to pick one for your deathbed, though.
Kind of a downer. But I think that the most perfect movie, in my opinion, is The Shining.
The Shining.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I know that's not a very happy movie.
No, it's not. But
You know what I just thought of?
what?
Shawshank. You're in prison. Why wouldn't you want to watch Shawshank? You know?
And think that maybe you'll end up on the Mexican beach.
On that beach with Morgan Freeman and what's his name?
I don't remember.
What's his character's name though?
Oh, I don't remember.
Randy.
Randy and Red.
No. Yeah, but like it's Randy Dufault.
Are you thinking of Willem Dafoe? Who is an incredible actor, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, who was a better Green Goblin?
Oh, yeah.
No, it was Andy Dufresne.
Okay,
Yeah, Andy Dufresne.
there we go.
But
Andy and Red. Mm-hmm. Nah, Shawshank would be a good one to watch as the last movie. Mm-hmm. Nah, but I think I'd stick with The Shining.
Really,
Yeah, I just think I don't know. It's
that's very
from
different.
the screenwriting to the directing to, I think there are like 4 major performances in it, but like 3 of the 4 major performances are perfect. Man. Undoubtedly flawless. I feel like the only nick in that movie is the wife's performance, the mother. I hate her. Not her character. That's fine. You can play hateable well, but she's just not good.
Yeah.
But Stanley Kubrick is probably one of my favorite directors.
Yeah. Let's go something easier.
Sure.
Favorites.
Favorite video game?
Oh, that's a good one. Whew. I mean, there's Rock Band, there's Pokemon, there's Minecraft, there's Civ, League of Legends. I'm just kind of trying to name the ones that I really like. Injustice is my favorite video game.
Okay.
Injustice Gods Among Us. I kick ass at that game. I can't wait for the second one to come out.
Yep.
Look for me, Doghouse Games. Gonna live stream some of that. But I've spent hours playing that game. And it's probably because I love the Flash and I want to be the Flash. I want to embody him. I want to play him in a movie. I want to write a movie for him. I love the Flash so much that I get to finally play as him. And they represent they represent some of the characters really well. Like Green Lantern was represented well in that. Flash's moves are so quick, and it's like his play style you have to be super quick with.
Sure.
It's just a fun game. Gets old sometimes, but that's why they're making a second one, I guess. What about you?
I think the most hours I've logged into a game is Civ 5.
Yeah, and you just got Civ 6.
Yeah, I did.
So you're gonna be plugging in plenty of hours like that.
Oh my goodness. And I think I've played like 2 hours of it so far. Oh man. Oh dude. It's I from like first impressions are great.
Yeah.
Now I'm playing it on my MacBook.
Sadly.
So like graphics are 0.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love history.
Yeah.
Which is like one of my favorite things. I got the enthusiasm for a history award in high school. One, because I was like
nerd.
I think that's been pretty well established.
Yeah.
But I also like totally kissed up to my history teacher in high school.
I loved history. I love that class because you can just sit there and listen about how it used to be. I love that too. I was never good at retaining that information.
Yeah.
But I definitely had a 7th grade teacher. Her name was Mrs. Smith.
Smith.
And it was kind of weird because I had a Miss Smith for my 2nd grade teacher, and she was literally the devil. She was the epitome of Satan herself. She had us rub her feet one day.
That
I'm not even kidding, dude.
Can't
be legal. Yeah. She retired the year after, so my brother never got her. He's 2 years younger.
Well, so if she was your year and she's like, all right, I'd get fired anyway.
She was so
Rub
old.
my
She was
feet.
so mean and just
for sure.
agitated. But Mrs. Smith in 7th grade, she was my history teacher. She had this nice Southern accent, and she would just talk about how it used to be and how Andrew Jackson led the Indians through the Trail of Tears. And I was just like, man, that sounds awful, Mrs. Smith, but man, keep talking. And she talked about how William Henry Harrison gave a 4-hour inauguration speech and then died of a cold that he contracted.
Pneumonia.
Yeah. And she's like, he's probably one of our worst presidents.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually remember, and I think it was right when Obama got elected for 2008. I think that might have been 6th grade or 7th grade, but she was not an Obama fan. But now, like,
well, you lived in Kansas. So.
Yeah. 8 years later, he's going to be considered one of our best. That's what I've been told.
Most influential.
Yeah,
or most significant, for sure. It depends on what side of the aisle you sit on.
Right.
But for sure.
20 years from now, he'll definitely be looked back on.
He will have his fingerprint on history.
Definitely.
I'll throw a great video in the description that talks about that I love.
Very cool.
All right, yeah.
What about you? What's your favorite president? How about that? I didn't tell you mine, but what's your favorite president? Who is your favorite president? Not what. They're not it's.
As a person as a person or like as a
what they accomplished during
politician?
their presidency. I mean, what they did as president. You know what I mean? Because Teddy Roosevelt as a person, he's pretty freaking cool.
No,
I mean, he goes and hunts
as
lions.
a person. It's like George Washington and Teddy Roosevelt. Like,
You're right.
You can't. Whatever.
Who goes hunting in Africa? That's amazing.
A favorite of mine is James Polk. He ran for one term.
Yeah.
And that was one of his campaign promises. He said, "I'm only going to run once, and I am going to." And he had 3 goals.
Right.
One of them was to get, I think, the Oregon Territory, which stretched up into modern day Canada.
Yeah.
But they
settle the territory, figure out
Yeah.
what we're doing in Oregon. I think another thing was the Mexican and American War during that time.
he wanted to end it.
Yeah, I think he wanted to end it or something.
And then had one third one. And then he apparently worked crazy hours, and he ran for one term.
He accomplished all of his goals by the time he was done.
And then died.
And then left, yeah.
No, he died recently after he left presidency.
That's
just because he
amazing.
almost worked himself to death.
That's amazing. That's very interesting. That's a good point. I remember learning about him.
But just from a policy standpoint, FDR.
FDR is my favorite president.
Yeah, I think it's cool that a president was so popular and so needed at his time that he was elected more time. He broke tradition.
He was actually in his second election, he almost lost it. He was very close to losing it. In his third election, he won pretty easily. But obviously he died in his third term.
In his fourth
his fourth term. I did a report over him, and it seems like he didn't ever have an easy election. Because if you go back to 1976 and you look at Nixon, hell, California was red. The only states that weren't red were Maryland and Washington, D.C. And just I've never seen California. I've never seen New York. Not blue.
Really quick, if any of us are wrong about anything,
Yeah,
please let us know in the
please correct
comments,
us.
because we read those.
Yeah.
And we would very much, I feel like our audience would very much appreciate.
We have a smart
Getting
audience. You
correct
guys are
information.
Smart. Look at
Yeah.
you.
So wait, was Miss Smith your favorite teacher?
Oh, no. I think
Who
one
was
of
your
my
favorite teacher pre-college?
I have multiple, even though I hated high school so much. I remember in middle school, first off, in grade school, it was Mrs. Haynes. She was my first grade teacher. She's just a sweet woman. I actually went back, I think it was last year, and I went and I saw her.
Oh, that's cool.
And she was, man, it was to the point where she was such a distant memory that I almost didn't recognize her when I saw her. But when I walked in, she was like, "Tyler," and I was like, "How do you know who I am?"
That's cool.
In middle school, it was Mrs. Bradfield. Surprisingly, both of these were older women. But Miss Bradfield was my art teacher. And I always liked to draw. I just never knew what to draw.
Sure.
So when she would give us an assignment, I would be so meticulous and I would be so focused on it. And I remember one time we had to draw a house, right? And I drew the house and I was really proud of it, but it was only in pencil and we were supposed to color it. And I was like, I really don't want to color this because I feel like I'm going to ruin it. And she was like, "Yeah, that's okay. I mean, if you want it, but just still work on it. Do more shading in the pencils." And she actually she was one of the first teachers to be like, "Yeah, you want to do this. As long as you still do the assignment, you can do whatever you want." She encouraged she was the first person to encourage my creativity.
For sure.
In high school, I had a couple. I have my second mother, Jody Hobbs, who was my debate and forensics teacher all throughout high school. She, along with being a great teacher and instructor and brilliant person in general. I mean, she dropped out of high school and went to some very prestigious college. I can forget, and she's going to kill me if she ever sees this, but she just went straight into college. She
graduated early, or she dropped out?
She dropped out of high school because she didn't want to take gym. And then she just went to college on a scholarship. So she's also got a sixth sense of humor. But the thing about her was that we bonded because of the sixth sense of humor, but she knew when to quit. She knew when to stop making fun of people. Or not make fun of people, but stop being snarky.
Sure.
I was much more of a little dookie head in high school, especially freshman year, and she just kind of slapped that out of me. I'm so thankful for that because I've learned so much from it.
Sure.
Mrs. Collenbach was my teacher in high school for history, a push. And actually, it's a funny story about her. So here's this.
Real quick, yeah.
Yeah, we had a kid named blah blah in our class, and he got butthurt real easily about stuff. And so one day we said that he looked like Hey Arnold, football head.
Yeah.
And we would say Hey Arnold in class, and he would get so angry. Now, this kid was not nice to people. He was an asshole, like to just general people. So we didn't feel bad about doing this. But then we realized, guess what also looks like Hey Arnold's head? Lemons. And so then we dared him to eat a lemon one time. And he just, whenever lemons or Hey Arnold got brought up, he got really butthurt about it. So what I did was I bought a $25 shirt, and I had a lemon tree on the back of it with A Push 2014 to 2015 on it. And then on the front was... I think it was Hey Arnold. I think it just said Hey Arnold or something.
You went all out.
I went all out. No, I bought it for her, and she hung it up in the classroom. And only recently I went back and I talked to her, and she said she was taking it down because all the kids would come into her classroom like, what the hell is that? She's like, she can't really explain it because it was just a year thing.
Sure.
But very few teachers in high school. What about you?
Yeah, I don't have any very impressionable teachers in elementary school. I'm going to cheat and say my favorite teacher in middle school. Well, my mom taught me in middle school.
Yeah.
But she didn't really teach me. I just sat in her class because I was just in advanced math that they didn't have at the time. Mm-hmm. So I just sat in her class and taught myself.
Yeah.
Because she was the math teacher. But middle school, she became my teacher in middle school, but I kept her in high school, was Miss Novak. She was my theater teacher.
Oh,
and
yeah.
She's the reason that I'm doing acting.
That's awesome, man.
Like, she set me on a path that I hopefully keep with forever.
That's awesome.
One of my favorite high school teachers is my history teacher. He was also my A-Push teacher, Mr. Chapman.
History teachers, they got a special place,
Well, yeah, I think...
The ones that aren't football coaches.
But I think it's really cool that my other favorite teacher was my science teacher, Dr. Funta. He was a French guy. He was born in France, did I think some postgrad in England, and then came to America. So he has this like weird blend of like mostly French accent, a little British, and then since he's in America, he's sort of losing his accent, but it's still definitely there.
Yeah.
So it's just like hodgepodge of words, and it's hysterical. But them two, I think the reason that they stood out to me so much was it was so incredibly obvious that they loved not only like the subject that they had, but teaching it. Like my Dr. Funta, his doctorate was given to him because he furthered the technology that led to the Blu-ray player. Like, this guy is brilliant. Wow. And during my senior year, my AP physics class was just me, him, and one other kid. So it was just a teacher and two students. And
AP physics is not a very popular class.
No.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite classes I've ever taken.
That's fantastic.
But I asked him one time because we would just like shoot the breezes for like 10 minutes because we had an hour and a half class, so we could stand for 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. But I asked him, Dr. Funta, what? You're brilliant. You're a doctor. Why are you teaching at a Christian private high school?
Yeah.
Like, he's a Christian, but like, why are you here?
Yeah.
And he goes, this is my passion. Mm-hmm. Like, and same with Mr. Chapman. Like, he loves history. Like, he'll come into class and go, guys, I watched a new documentary last night. And he'll like give us.
He gets so hyped about it.
And he, like, when he starts talking about history, he like starts shaking.
Yeah.
He's just like this small dude, like really young, but like really small dude, had like stuck his head out, but he would just like, he was so excited about talking about like Theodore Roosevelt and wars and like American history was his jam. He could talk about that past the sun. Like,
That's something I hope I always have. Even after college, I want to keep taking classes in history. Because you can buy individual classes. Sure, they're expensive, but history is just so fun. And it's just,
oh yeah,
it's so,
and you can never learn too much of it.
really, honestly, you can't.
Like, you can take like higher level math and higher level English and whatnot, but history is so interesting because it's one of the only subjects that's fairly level
Yeah.
across subjects. And it's not like okay, you go deeper and deeper into this subject. It's you just get a larger breadth of knowledge.
One of my favorite things to do in general, talking on favorites, is to ask the question why.
No, that's my favorite question to ask in history. Because like people, places, things that happen
Why
were
do
fine.
they do this? Yeah.
But what was the motivation? Like what were the kings thinking?
Not
when
just
they-
wars, even. It's just like political agendas
Oh.
and the mindset. You get to go into the head of Andrew Jackson, and sure, the Trail of Tears. If you talk about the Trail of Tears and just put that on a conversation,
terrible thing.
terrible thing.
But he had motivation.
He had
for it.
you can justify everything that he did because you got into the mind with him.
With a train of thought. Now
Right.
you can agree or disagree with that train of thought.
Looking about where he grew up, the kind of man he was not a rich man growing up.
No, he was an everyman.
He was very poor.
Yeah.
Very poor. And the fact that he was a people's people, and that's when he
People's
was president. Right. He was the people's president that year. And it was,
Exactly.
the question why is, like you said, you can always ask that in history. I remember Colin
And
Bach
I think,
almost like hated me because every time I was like, but wait, why the f did they do that? She's just like, because it happened, Tyler, because
God,
that was history.
no, yeah.
You can't.
Great place to end on. My favorite question, why?
Yeah.
And that's mine too, just because you can't ever ask that enough.
You can't. And you can. The best part is you can ask yourself that too. You can ask yourself, not only why am I not, maybe why do I want to sleep today? Why do I like this show? Why do I feel angry right now? It's you can ask why for other people and you can judge them all you want, but then there's a time where you have to just look in the mirror, say why on all of these things. And it's so, I feel like more people need to ask the question why.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think that why is a great question just to ask in almost all circumstances. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That was great.
that's the episode. Leave down in the comments anything that we got wrong. First of all, because
What your favorites are?
anything that we listed.
Favorite
if you have
philosopher specifically. Yeah, I'd
that'd
like
be
to
interesting.
learn
But
some
like,
more.
it will be down in the comments. So like, post your favorite thing that we didn't talk about, and we'll tell ours.
Yeah.
it'll be great. We'll keep having this conversation
Definitely. I mean,
whenever we can.
We get a jubilant when we know that somebody's commenting. So please comment.
All right. Thank you. Have a good. Have
Have a
good
safe
night.
Halloween.
Safe Halloween. Make good decisions, and if you don't make good decisions, make good stories.
Yeah.
All right.